Invest in real estate now. The next coming years are going to be huge. You do not want to miss it. You don't want to be looking back 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now and go, oh man, I missed it.
Hey, so tell me your name. What's the name of your business?
My name's Shawn Griffith with TWT Multifamily.
Beautiful. And what brings you here to Dealmaker Live?
Well, there's a lot of great deals floating around out here and a lot of great people in the real estate space. Had some amazing sessions already today, so I'm here to learn, I'm here to network and meet people.
What's your favorite session so far?
Oh, wow, that's tough. That's like asking me which one's my favorite child, right? that, uh, all the sessions have been very informative. It's hard to pick, it really is.
So, since you brought up the topic of the book, do you have an idea what your first book is going to be about? And have you written a book before?
I have started writing a book before. I actually had one, it's probably been 10 or 12 years ago. I started writing on character and, what is character? How do I develop good character? That kind of thing. But what I'm looking at right now, though, that book is going to be on my wife and I's journey, how we developed our income that allows us to travel the way that we want to. It's amazing how few people actually ask me what TWT stands for. If you ask me, it's Travel with Terry, which is my lovely wife. If you ask her, it's Travel with Trouble. But that keeps it up there in the forefront of, why am I getting out there and putting myself through this and, grinding and grinding and grinding because, anybody that wants to be a general partner on a deal, I highly recommend it, but you really need to, know what you're getting into, right?
So
Yeah.
I also want to introduce you to McGenna of Eagles Acquisitions. Do you have questions for him as well?
So, we had the pleasure of networking earlier,
Yeah.
so I got to learn a little bit more about you, and we are on the same page as far as networking, energy, so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
But one question I have for you, why do you do this? Like, why do you continue to show up and network, event after event?
Well, the nice thing about my wife and I is we're very complementary. I thrive on networking. I mean, as you can tell, I love to talk. I love to meet people.
I did not notice.
And sometimes it's not always obvious. Okay, yeah, it is always obvious. She's more of a strategic networker. We had the conversation earlier that, she would sit down with you in the corner for an hour and she would know everything there is to know about you. And she's better at building those deeper, more meaningful relationships. I'm better at meeting people initially, and then it takes me time to build that up. I'm not one of those people that can sit down and have a meaningful conversation easily in an hour. It takes me repeated sessions meeting people before I really get to know them.
So if I understand this correctly, attending these events has brought you clarity to know your superpower,
Yeah.
your talents.
Mm-hmm.
Who makes Shawn?
Yeah.
I love
exactly.
it. Now, have you joined Michael Blank's mastermind yet?
I have not, and it's kind of on the radar. This is my first time to come to one of his events. I've seen him. I saw his book several years ago. He was actually one of the mentors that we had looked at originally. My wife, when we were looking to get into syndication, we looked at several different mentors, and I always advise people when they ask me, how do I do what you do? And I said, well, honestly, I kind of joke with them a little bit. I say, well, the first thing you should do is see your psychiatrist, and if they say you're crazy, that's a good start. But seriously, though, I tell them, I said, what you should do is look at several different mentors, find somebody that you click with. Just because I have a mentor doesn't mean that's the right person for you. You may not match with their personality. You may not match with the way they teach things. And so, we're always looking at options. We're always looking, because no matter how much you learn about real estate, you will never know it all. Prime example, one of my neighbors down the street, he's only done 1031 exchanges. I wanted to learn more about 1031 exchanges, so I took him to the club for lunch and said, hey, let's talk about this. He ended up asking me more questions about syndication because he'd never done anything with syndication. And he wanted to know, what are you doing? How do you do it? And we actually had breakfast earlier this week, and so he's probably going to invest in a future deal coming up. I just have to make sure that, all of our paperwork and everything, we'll support a 1031 exchange.
And which leads me to one of the most important questions I think there is when it comes to these events. How many units do you own?
So I actively manage 505 across 4 properties. 3 of them are here in the DFW area. 1 of them is down in San Antonio. We're passively invested in probably another 3,000 units.
You heard that right, 3,000 and growing.
Yep. And we just closed yesterday on a ground-up self-storage development, and we just found out today that we had an LOI accepted on about 190 units over in the Mid-Cities area. So,
congratulations.
yeah.
We
So
are
we're pumped.
very, very honored to have you here today because you make this event that Michael wants them to be. Yes, Michael is Michael, but having access to the professionals that he attracts
Absolutely.
is what attracts me to continue to show up, because I know it's going to always be extremely valuable. And knowing that you have an LP position, GP, self-storage, now a friend in the 1031, you are a wealth of knowledge. And we cannot wait to learn more about you. We thank you for your time.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
Yes, of course. And I'll pass it back to Brooke for any
last words, you would like to
a
hear for the
message?
public? And who would you say to people who are on the fence, essentially? They're on the fence. They don't know if multifamily is for them. Famous last words. Let's hear it.
Invest in real estate now. The next coming years are going to be huge. You do not want to miss it. You don't want to be looking back 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years from now and go, oh man, I missed it. You know?
Excellent piece of advice.
Famous last words.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for spending
So much.
time with us.